Losing myself and finding my strength, came to the conclusion that I want it all. Feeling that pressure of trying to do better. I want to reach heights, but too scared to fall. Too scared of failure, way more scared of feeling regret from not even trying. That's terrifying. I understand that chasing my goals, I bury my clocks because it take time. I gotta go, I already know. If I want to grow, you reap what you sow. That be the case. Planting my seeds and water my base. Yeah, I made mistakes. Yeah, I know you grow in your garden, but watch for the snakes. The people that act like you crazy for trying to stay far away. They don't think it's possible. I think it's possible. That is just hate. Yeah, they hate themselves because they on the shelf while you create a life that you love. A life that you love. Yeah. Loving the fact you're improving yourself. Decided that you would not settle. Decided that you got the drive to do it. The road got bumping your foot on the pedal. You go up a level. You turn up whenever it's time for you to go put in that work. I know my worth. I know it ain't gonna be easy. Yeah, I know it hurt. One thing is for sure. Yeah. Until they put me in this earth. Before I ride in that hearse. I'm chasing my goals. I'm chasing my goals. Yeah. Loving the fact you're improving yourself. Decided that you would not settle. Decided that you got the drive to do it. The road got bumping your foot on the pedal. I'm chasing my goals. All right, and welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to me on a podcast platform, leave me a review. Those things help me out a whole lot. Also, there is a new way for you to support me. You can buy me a cup of coffee. If anybody who knows me knows I love coffee. I drink coffee every day. I love it. I drink it. I needs it. I wants it. So I would love if you would buy me a cup of coffee. I left a link in the description. It's a picture of a cup of coffee right there in the description. So just click on that and you can support. All right. So before I get started, I want to say this, and I feel like there might be somebody out there who needs to hear me say this. Some of you may be showing up in your life right now and you just ain't in your groove. There are things that are not going as they should be going. Maybe you in a down cycle. Maybe you had some recent letdowns. Maybe you experiencing things that are stagnant in your life. Maybe even down to anxiety and depression. I just want to be that person that reminds you that you are still going to be that person who does something special. And that this is only temporary. And that you have everything you need inside you right now to make your life great. And that you can turn it around just the way you are, just who you are. And also, what you allow to happen is only going to continue to happen in your life, but you can't allow it to keep happening. And that can be hard to accept, right? But the thing is, things that are happening in our lives, we are allowing them to happen. And I know a lot of the hard things that happen, that can be just coincidental, right? A lot of things are just out of your control. But I want to challenge some of that today. I'm also going to challenge you about the fact that you deserve better, but you need to believe you deserve better in order to turn your life around. And we're going to talk about something that may seem a little ironic to talk about because it might not seem connected, but it's actually very connected. And that thing is ego. So the truth is, ego is always fake. It's always something that pops out when we're insecure, when we have some kind of fear, right? If you meet those folks, we would call them egomaniacs. Egomaniacs. The folks with the biggest egos, right? These people are actually the most insecure people out there. They are the most scared, most fearful, usually the least happy. And I know what you're thinking, that there ain't no way that you have an ego. Like, I'm so down on myself. How the hell could I have an ego? I can be so self-conscious. How does that equal ego? But it's the people who are down on themselves that actually have their egos materialize and show up more often than they think. And it's actually their ego that might be holding them back. And I hear you. How can somebody who might have low self-esteem or somebody who don't have the best confidence around certain things in their life have an ego? Well, let's talk about it. Because the people with high self-esteem, they actually don't have egos. The people who are the most confident, the genuine kind of confidence, right? The people who are so confident within themselves with who they are, they typically don't have egos. They don't need them. And before I keep going, let me just say that I'm talking about this topic like most of the things I talk about on here because I struggle with it too. I don't want you to think that I got it all figured out, that this is the kind of podcast, right, that I'm that I'm telling you, just do what I do, and I got to figure it out. I'm this rich person who has figured out the path to success. No, I'm on this journey with you, and we're going to figure it out and grow together. That's my goal. But people's egos show up when they are the most scared. And a lot of times it can be when people start achieving and seeing success. Maybe they get full of themselves. And at least that's what it looks like on the outside, right? And what's really happening in their minds is they're afraid they're going to fall down, afraid they're going to lose something, afraid they're going to have a setback. And a lot of times when we see those people, maybe our friends who have that ego, it's when they're doing good, right? Like, look at her. She's so full of herself. She thinks she looks so good. Look at all the selfies she posts. Look at all the pics she take, all half dressed. Most of the time, she actually don't think she look good. Most of the time, he actually don't think he look good. And they actually just looking for validation. They look for that validation from other people. And to us, it may seem like they showing off or flaunting. But in reality, they need people to tell them they look good because they're insecure. We see this in men in other ways too, right? You see them when they start doing well, they start making a lot of money, they buy the fancy car, they start to be all flashy with what they buy, what they wear, right? He is so afraid that he's going to lose it all. He's so afraid that all his success that he's having, it has exceeded who he truly is deep down. He probably insecure about who he is as a person, as a man in general. So the materialistic things help him feel like he really is somebody. He afraid people go see him for who he truly is. And his ego shows up because he's afraid. When you see ego, just know that it usually means fear. And that may sound like it might be a little ironic, but it's true. So let's talk about recognizing when our egos show up. Because once we figure out when it does show up, we can check ourselves on it and go back to being our regular selves, which is my first point. You can't love yourself without being yourself. You can't love yourself without being yourself. And when our egos show up, we're not being ourselves. When you let go of that ego, you can let your true self in. You can let that false confidence go. And we're going to talk about some really obvious examples of how your ego shows up. And we're going to talk about some ways it shows up that may be harder to catch. And talk about, talk about some solutions for both of them. Well, actually, the solutions are going to be on the next episode. Don't worry, I'm putting that out this week, so you ain't got to wait for it. But I had to break this one down so it wouldn't be too long. So we're talking examples today, then solutions on part 2 later on in the week. But let's dive in. So here are some of the obvious ways. First ego we can recognize is defensiveness. You ever met somebody who just generally get defensive about stuff? Whenever you ask them a question or say something, they just seem to always just get defensive. Their ego is showing up. Sometimes we actually need to respond to criticism with open arms, but instead we get defensive about it. And you better believe that is ego rearing its ugly head. Pay attention to yourself around this. The second sign is somebody who always got to be right. That person who has to prove what they saying is true all the time in excess. You ever met that person who always go out of their way to prove that what they say is true? This is because they're afraid that what they said might not be true. It's their ego. They're afraid of being incompetent, that they're not smart. And the second part to that one, the need to win in a disagreement. They need to always win in an argument. This is an ego issue. It's the idea that if somebody makes a great point or they challenge your point, you actually might not be right, and you having to back off that point somehow makes you weak. This is insecurity. You don't have to always win in a disagreement. It's okay to be like, you know what? I'm sorry. I was actually wrong. You're right. Admitting that you're sorry and that you're wrong is a sign of confidence and strength, a sign of lack of ego. Ego is the exact opposite. And I know that you know these people. We've all seen them, right? Or is this you? It's easy to see these things in other folks, but the real confident people, they see these things in themselves, right? So is this you? And number 3, the third one, pride and boasting, right? Constantly bragging and boasting about your achievements, being prideful all the damn time. And this is a very obvious one, right? I think I can say I don't have this one myself. People are always telling me how humble I am, that I don't talk about myself enough, which I think they're right. I need to have more of an ego around that I currently do. I need to be talking up this podcast, talking up my music, my workout business, my editing, my theater career, the marketing and advertising of it all, right? It's needed to have some kind of ego in doing that, right? To have that attitude that, hey, what I got, you need it. Pay me for it, right? That's a positive way, right? And I'll get into more of that in part 2. But the next one, and I know you see this in a lot of people, revenge. Do you seek revenge against people? Do you know people who constantly want to get back at people? Revenge is ego. 100%. 100% of the time, it is ego. Again, guilty. How many of us got told something like you can't do this, or you'll never be XYZ, or somebody wronged you and they didn't believe in you? Right? And it could be years later and you want to prove them wrong. You want to get your revenge by doing the exact thing they said you couldn't do. Ego. Why? Because you should be doing that for yourself, not for them. That's ego. Another one, possessiveness. The desire to own somebody or control other people. We don't own people. Right? And our desire to control people, to control situations, that's definitely an ego issue. That person who trying to be possessive of you, they have an ego issue. And again, be honest with yourself. Do you do this? If you do, know that you are making somebody's life harder than what it has to be by having to have control all the time. Another one, talking down about somebody or gossiping about people all the time. That's ego. It's also a major sign of insecurity, actually, hand in hand, right? Insecurity and lack of confidence go hand in hand with ego. And I was listening to this guy named Ed Milet, who's a highly successful entrepreneur and life coach, and he challenged his class to go a whole day without talking negatively about another person. And then took it one step further after that and challenged them to go a whole day without talking about another person at all. And think about that. Could you do that? Could you go a whole day and not speak a word about another individual? I'll be honest. I don't think I could right now. I don't think I could. I just got the phone a little bit ago. My homeboy was talking about somebody, about a friend of ours and what they doing, right? But we all been there, right? We all been there with the gossiping. I have my moments. Some of y'all probably have gossip with me, right? So I'm calling myself out on that. Now, I will say the majority of the time I do it because I'm annoyed with somebody or somebody did something stupid, but still. And a lot of times we do it when we're around people, right? It's easy to gossip around other gossipers. So in reality, the true sign of not having an ego is not to engage. And that can be challenging. I'm actually getting better at that, like I said, and I be ignoring that gossip a lot of times. So many times I find myself just tuning it out, being in my own little world in my head. I'm making a point to pay attention to something else. That way they can't even invite me in the conversation because I'm just occupied with something else. Moving on. The next one is another obvious one, and that's obsession with outward appearance. You ever go to the gym and you see that buff-ass dude always in the mirror posing, checking out his muscles, right? Or that person who look at themselves in the mirror a whole lot? Again, I'm guilty of this, not the gym thing. Hell no. Don't you ever think I do that. But I've had multiple people tell me that they see me looking in the mirror myself, and they be like, every time you pass a mirror, you be looking at yourself in the mirror. Have you ever noticed that? And the thing is, I'm not looking at myself like, oh, I look so good. Damn, look at me. No, if I'm being honest with myself, it's an insecurity. I'm checking to make sure that I don't look bad. I'm looking for flaws, damn near. I'm worried about my outward appearance to the extent that I'm not even conscious of the fact that I be checking myself out in the mirror all the time, looking for flaws. Again, ego. Or what about that person who always posting selfies and there's always that filter, right? And I ain't talking about a regular filter. I'm talking about them filters that make a person look completely different than who they are in real life. Damn near unrecognizable, right? Like that don't even look like you, right? And the thing is, They don't even realize it. They can't even tell. They can't tell. It's because they're so hyper-focused on it. It's that constant obsession with what they're looking at in themselves. Again, these are signs of ego. And again, is this you? The next one, another easy one, bullying. 100% only insecure and weak people bully people. And I ain't talking about like playground bullying, right? Folks at your job can be a bully. Your boss can be a bully. I think we done all had that bully boss. They were insecure. And I ain't gonna name no names, but I done worked with some bully directors. And it make rehearsal so uncomfortable. But in reality, they were just insecure, which is unfortunate for everybody else in the room. But bullying, that's another one. So these are some of the obvious ways that your ego may be showing up in your life. Like I said, this is part 1. Be sure to listen to part 2 later on this week. If you listen to this when it first came out, part 2 is coming in a few days. And these are important to recognize and not only take note of, but to work on them. Because when you start to get to the root of why you have this kind of behavior, why you do these things, then you'll be able to see what areas in your life need attention, what insecurities you may have. And when you are aware of these things, you can work on them and eventually turn them into more confidence. And you'll be showing up in the world and for yourself more genuine and truly yourself. And when you have that confidence, you can go out and create that life you want. I'm not saying that confidence is going to give you success, but if you have it, then you'll be that much less likely to get in your own way. And a lot of times we do exactly that to ourselves. So we get in our own way. So don't let your ego hold you back. So that's what I got for y'all today. Man, thank y'all for being here and listening. Like I said, there is a new way to support me. You can buy me a cup of coffee. I love coffee. I drink it every morning. I need it. I likes it. Like I said, there's a link in the description. If you look, it's a picture of a cup of coffee. Just click on that, and then you can buy your boy a cup of coffee. Also, if you enjoyed this message, please share this to your social media and make sure you tag me in it. If you feel like a friend or a family member can enjoy or would benefit from hearing this message, please share this with them. Let's go ahead and get to this music. The song I got for y'all today is called Opening Night. Let's ride out. Yes, yes. Yes, look. I decided to take a leap of faith, and I never landed. I'm fly as a bird, I'm high as a bird, and highly favored. But it wasn't my time to shine, so I waited my turn. Sat back and observed, yeah, and I got to work. And before I sign on your dotted line, put some respect on my check, yeah, cause I know my worth. Out of a munch, only what I deserve. I ride the beat like I ride in a hearse. I buy the bag of beat, boy, I come with this heat, you might need to earn. I let it burn, and as long as my family proud, I'm sitting here laughing. Just like my daddy, cause we go grind, you know we go work. Long as he proud of me, that's all that matter. But all your chit chatter, but not my concern. Never no negative words from her. She probably salty because she got curved. You probably thought he was finished and done. You started to doubt me, I promise it made me go hard as ever. Opening night, I gotta buy me an opening fit, man. I hope I don't splurge. I'm reaching heights, I know eventually I gotta fall. I hope it don't hurt. Hoping I don't stay down on the bottom. I hope I return. It's opening night. Hoping I go to bed and wake up tomorrow like over the night. Hoping you not trying to argue with me, dog. You know what you right. Ain't seen her in a while, she know what's on sight. She know that I'm busy as soon as I finally get that day off. She get the whole night, almost time, this is the night. Clear my mind, I'm finna get right. Yes, yes. Hoping I shine, they dimming the lights. Yes. Wish I could give you this feeling, I promise this shit is the best. I got this weight on my chest, I'm pushing it off me. Promise you that's not a flex. Yes, yes. Damn, but you gotta be so analytic. All you gotta say is you don't get it. Out here acting like a critic. Yes. I'm done trying to prove to y'all that I've been gifted. Half of y'all ain't know I existed. Now my name be selling tickets. Yes. I'm thankful to myself, I stay committed. And I'm sorry if I've been distant, I hope you don't get it twisted. I don't have hate in my spirit, I only hate flying spirit. Opening night, and we been sipping, I hope I'm still coherent. Yes. Standing ovation, a big celebration, pick up your libation, I'm making a toast. I put in hours and hours perfecting my craft and make sure I give you the most. I make it look easy, but trust and believe me, if you tried to beat me, I know you would choke. I don't wanna settle, I wanna do better, a whole nother level, I'm talking about growth. It's open at night and not enough space to type the way I feel in this post. Think about friends and all the parties I missed and places that I couldn't go. Sorry, but I gotta miss it, I'll be there in spirit. Damn, I feel like a ghost. I hit the stage and I float.